Is it the chosen one? He will avenge us.
We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little.
The world he created exists for itself.
And so, my fellow nerds, ask not what your fandom can do for you, ask what you can do for your fandom.
Forgot to add myself to the stream. What's up, everybody? Hello. Make sure I don't have myself muted because I know a lot of times I'll start these streams. I'll be talking for like 5 minutes and I'm not even here. Good to see everybody in the chat. Hello. I see so many members here already hanging out. Thank you to all of my members for being here. I appreciate it. I'm going to try to put on a good show for you tonight. Keep you guys entertained. Have some fun talking about Star Wars because Lord have mercy. Was it an interesting week and then an interesting midweek break? He doesn't hear me. Am I muted? I can't be muted. He's mad. Rogue Attraction's messing with me. Please tell me he's messing with me. Good to see you, Tom. Glad you're here. Okay. All right. Let's move into this thing. I can't do that, man. You can't do that stuff because it happens so often that I have to like start checking stuff. And I'm like, oh, dude, I messed something up again. Friggin' boomer. What am I doing? I saw a comment in the chat. I need that hat. Yes, hats are now live. I didn't make a big announcement or anything, but I did. I got some embroidered hats that are actually live on the website now. You can get trucker hats, dad hats, snapbacks. I think a lot of that stuff's it's on there. It should be live and good to go. I see Pops in here. What's up, Pops? How you doing, brother? Bro, come on. You're throwing off my groove here, man. Good to see everybody. Hello. Thank you for being here. If you're here, it seems like you're here to be interested and talk about what's going on with Star Wars, man. This is the State of Star Wars address. We've got a whole mess of stuff going on. I think this music's a little too loud for my liking. There we go. All right, we're going to bring the music down just a skoge. And I apologize for some reason. StreamYard chat is super, super slow today. I have it blown up on the other side for YouTube chat so I can kind of see what's going on. So forgive me if it takes a minute. If anybody does any member chats or anything like that, I swear to Bob, I promise I'm going to get to him for you. I'm going to get to you. So, Star Wars, the State of Star Wars, the address. You guys ready to get into this? So if you didn't know, I spent essentially the entire weekend on Echo Base Network from 5 o'clock in the morning because it's in the UK. It was really early. I was on at 5 o'clock in the morning on Echo Base, and we rolled all the way up until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon every single day. So there's about 27 hours of content over on Echo Base where I'm sitting there talking about what's going on at Star Wars Celebration. You can watch that, or you can just hang out here tonight and I can tell you exactly what went down and kind of my thoughts. I know I did a little bit of a kind of a roundup the last time that I saw you guys, and I haven't really made any content since then because it was pretty wore out from all the stuff that I did. I think I did one live stream. Honestly, I can't remember at this point. The days are starting to kind of blend together. You know what I mean? But I was going through it today and I was thinking about all the announcements. You know, I went on Polly's and we had the chance to talk to Chris Gore about Star Wars. I talked to Polly about Celebration, talked about G4 TV, all the good stuff. There was all kinds of amazing stuff. So if you haven't surfed around and found Polly or Echo Base, please get over there. Polly, the Latino slant, and Echo Base. Please get over there. Find those guys. Watch those streams because they're really good. They're really good streams. They're really fun streams. I tend to let loose a little more when I'm not on my channel, which is probably a smart thing. But yeah, it's that YouTube grind. For show. For show. Really quick, before we get started, I want to hit two things. Showroom Sabers hopped in with a $4.99 super chat. Says, Dawn of the Jedi. Sounds good. Filoni's movie sounds cool. Would be interesting to see how they do Heir to the Empire. Thanks for doing these, bro. I'm going to get into that. I'm going to star this because I want to come back to this a little bit later. Yeah, we are definitely going to be talking about that. And then my good friend, my man, Pops, became a YouTube member. Now I got to edit my damn video. It takes so long to edit that thing, but I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. You know what that means, everybody. We got to do a little bit of dance. Always gets me in the mood. Always gets me excited to hang out with you guys, talk a little bit of Star Wars. I honestly, like, I've been feeling really isolated with Star Wars, and I shouldn't because I'm a part of a gigantic Star Wars community. I'm friends with a bunch of creators who are Star Wars creators talking about this stuff. But I just feel like nobody understands me, man. You know what I mean? I'm having a tough time getting through this. We got to talk about what I've seen post Star Wars Celebration, the articles that have been coming out, and as I'm getting ready for the show, I legitimately had not seen this until about 30 minutes before the show. And I'm going to start easy with it. Let me just bring it in. Let me bring this article in real quick. Okay, so here's the article. I thought this was pretty interesting. I saw a headline from Variety said how Rey's return and a tired Mandalorian season riled up the fandom at Star Wars Celebration. And I'm thinking, whoa, hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. Is Variety getting grifty? Because it seems like it. How Rey's return and a tired Mandalorian season riled up the fandom. Like, maybe people are pissed off. They're not happy. And then I read the article, and I'm like, God damn. Okay, that's not exactly. This is basically an entire article just shitting all over the Star Wars fan base. That's pretty much exactly what it is. So there's some blah, blah, blah in the beginning. They're talking about the Star Wars community being well represented and yada, yada. You might find characters like Darth Vader or the umbrella wielding lightsaber from Star Wars Visions. And then I don't know why this line triggered me. I guess I'm just a toxic Star Wars fan. But if you need a reminder that sometimes fandoms can be good, Star Wars Celebration is it. Without the racist backlash against new characters played by people of color or interminable hate tweets about specific movies, the event showcases the fandom at its best. There you go, kids. If you didn't show up there, if you have any problem with the movies, if you got any, what movies? If you have any problems with the shows, anything like that, you're a piece of shit. You're the problem with the fandom, and I want you to know that. I want everybody to hop in the bathroom, take a look in the mirror, check yourself, because you are a terrible person. Don't forget that. So they go over all of this stuff. Basically, we're so excited that Rey is returning. Holy cow, this is what Star Wars needed. The reason why Star Wars has been in such a slump is because Rey is coming back. Why didn't I think of that? But wait, let's take a minute. Let's just take a second. Let's just take a second to look back on what's been going on with Star Wars over, I don't know, past couple years. What has been going on with Star Wars? How was Rey's story? Well, obviously, Episode 7, The Force Awakens, comes out, makes almost $1 billion, right, in its lifetime. Damn near $1 billion. It was like 70 million off or something like that. Episode 8, The Last Jedi, over its lifetime, down to 620. Well, that's a pretty big drop, but hey, maybe people don't like Rian Johnson. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's what's going on. You know what? Like, we got to finish out the trilogy. Let's put out Rise of Skywalker. Where does Rise of Skywalker land? My friends, 515. 515 over a lifetime. The Rise of Skywalker landed at 515 over its lifetime. Now, just for comparison, Rogue One made 532. So, as you can tell, as we continue into Rey's story, as we get further into the trilogy, as we get to the end and we get to Rise of Skywalker, they lost half. So you had almost $1 billion off the bat, and then you get down to Rise of Skywalker and you run in at 500 instead of $1 billion. I'm not a businessman personally, but I would say, hey, looks like maybe we're not headed in the right direction. I think maybe we should change something up. We should try something else. Let's see what works. And maybe that's what they did when they went to Disney Plus exclusively. And so, man, we get the Mandalorian. Mandalorian season 1 and 2, big fan. I bought a $500 Razor Crest. I was buying stuff left and right for Mandalorian. Just pumped. I'm like, dude, Star Wars is back. We got Luke Skywalker coming down hallways, breaking down doors, fucking people up. Let's go. I'm like, Star Wars is back, baby. But it was not to last. It was not to last because we've headed in now to Mandalorian season 3. All of a sudden there was a change. There was a shift. What happened? All of a sudden the writing seems completely different. It feels like the heart, the soul, the gravitas of everything is somehow missing. Well, maybe the episodes are just bad. We've got Lieutenant Biscuits back. Who doesn't love Lieutenant Biscuits? Let me get some Lieutenant Biscuits in the chat. What is going on here? Everything seems odd. Everything seems different. The storytelling is disjointed. It doesn't seem serious at all. It doesn't seem like the writers give a shit about what they're actually writing. What is going on? It doesn't make sense. So fans are kind of freaking out. They're talking to each other on boards. They're showing up on streams saying, what the hell is going on? Mandalorian was kind of kicking ass. I've brought it up multiple times and people say I should be embarrassed. I don't care. My mother called me. She's like, what the fuck am I watching right now? And I'm like, well, it's not the Mandalorian, Ma. She's like, I simply don't understand. There was another person that was in my community that actually let me know that their daughter went to sleep watching one of these episodes, woke up and thought they had completely changed the programming and were watching a different show. Something's wrong here, kids. Something's really, really wrong. And so I have to wonder what exactly that is. Now, when I look at Mandalorian, that's all I want for Star Wars Celebration, by the way. I did want to bring up one more time really quick this super chat from Showroom Saber saying Dawn of the Jedi sounds good. Filoni's sounds cool. Would be interesting to see how they do Heir to the Empire. So I'll start at the first one. Dawn of the Jedi sounds good. I can agree there. I have read Expanded Universe talking about Bogan and Ashla and the beginning of the dawn of the Jedi, right? That's a whole, it's not the Jedi. They put an apostrophe in there, the Jedi. That could be cool because this is kind of like the Mortis arc-esque area, right? They're talking about the light and the dark. I could be into that. I could totally be into that. We'll see how it plays out. Filoni's movie sounds cool. Look, after the way season 3 of Mandalorian is going right now, are people really going to be excited about it? Because it has not been going well. Viewership has been tanking. Longtime fans, which is weird, you can say that now. Longtime fans of The Mandalorian are not happy about it. And it's just kind of odd. And then interesting to see how they do Heir to the Empire. I hope they really don't do anything more than just putting Thrawn in there. As a longtime fan of Timothy Zahn, Heir to the Empire, the stuff that they did with the Thrawn books after the Heir to the Empire trilogy, and his new books where it's him and the Chiss Ascendancy, they got to be really careful. They got to be really careful about what they do with that guy, because that's post-Rebels content. And now we've got a character that's fully fleshed out. I don't think it's a good idea, but what do I know? Hashtag fake fan. Fake fan. So in culmination, essentially, what we've gotten now are people who were very excited about The Mandalorian now turned off. Because what has The Mandalorian done? It's turned completely from the Mando show into the Bo Katan show, which is fine. I guess. I think the problem here is that during season 2 of The Mandalorian, I should say at the end of season 2 of The Mandalorian, Din Djarin's arc was complete. That was it. Like, that's what he needed to do, and he was done. That was his story arc. You know what I mean? When I talk about the sequels a lot of the times, and we talk about Luke Skywalker, it's the same problem. And this is where Disney's kind of messing up, is that, you know, if Din Djarin is done at the end of season 2, Luke is done at, you know, Return of the Jedi, we've had full arcs. If you don't already go back to established lore where we found out they do stuff after, and then you change it and you mess stuff up and you make it, you know, you add in different I'm gonna collect myself really quick because my brain is going 10,000 miles an hour about all the things I can't say on YouTube. Because I want to rant. Like, I want to start dropping F-bombs. I'm mad, dude. I'm legitimately mad. And I'm not mad because of what we're getting. I'm mad about what we're not getting or what we could have gotten. And I feel like that's a missing conversation for like a lot of Star Wars fans. People are like, well, you just hate Reva because she's black. I'm like, no, I read the Kenobi book and I remember how incredible that story was. And if you just did an adaptation of that book, it would have been incredible. It would have been incredible. But so much stuff was just kind of bastardized and thrown in. And then we got really bad writing and cringy scenes with the CGI, just all kinds of weird shit that ruined that show. And then you go back and my brain always goes back to the book. And I'm like, that would have been incredible. Why? Because when they wrote that story, they melded it perfectly into what we already know about Kenobi, and how it fits into the original trilogy. And it didn't step on any toes. And that's kind of all I want from this content, because I know that we're in this space in between, you know, the original trilogy, we're in between Return of the Jedi and, you know, basically the Force Awakens. You could do Heir to the Empire faithfully in that time frame and not piss anybody off. I'm just saying. Zombie Box, I'm sorry. I have not been paying attention to the chat. I'm just ranting. I'm ranting. I apologize. Let me scroll up a little bit. Let me talk to you guys for a little bit. Let's get to the chat. I apologize. Strategist says, for those of you who've seen the Apple show Severance, I would be interested in a similar procedure that separates me into one person who is aware of Disney Star Wars and another who is not.
Shit.
That's actually a really good idea. I would love it. Because the thing is, I will never crap on a fan who's enjoying Disney Star Wars. I'm just going to be jealous. I'm going to be super jealous. Because I can't imagine how cool it would be to be getting all these announcements and just be stoked out of my mind. But I'm not. I'm just not. Here's another interesting one from Donna Hergenrether. I want men in my Star Wars. You know what's funny, Donna? You're not the first person I've heard that from. I've heard a lot of women out there be like, dude, can we get some hot guys in Star Wars? Like, please, can we have some hot guys in Star Wars? Can't blame you. Showroom Sabers hops in for $9.99. Rey movie could be okay. I think if they make her go through some things and struggle, she could be a better character. They could also start some healing by getting Mark back in. Oh boy, buddy, that train has left the station. That train left the station years and years and years and years ago. I'm going to be really interested to see if they take the sequel trilogy hero and make him a shitty old hermit. And then when the new character comes in, they just beat the shit out of Rey. They just beat the ever-loving shit out of Rey. They tell him, like, you know, you just old and tired and you're a piece of shit. And Rey just gets absolutely massacred by some unknown young strong man. Could you imagine? That'd be some shit. All right, I'm missing a super chat, but I can't seem to find it. Hold on. I'm so bad at chat tonight. I apologize. I got ranting and I lost track of everything. I'm supposed to star these as we go. Bastardized Syrian of the original heir to the Empire. Yeah. I don't know what Syrian is, though. Did the hat axe. I finally did the hat. The hats are live. The hats are live. I'm going to show you the Clone Trooper helmet. That thing just came in today. I'm so excited. Breeze's Comics and Collectibles. You'll like the face, too. It's massive, dude. It's really big. Donna Hergenrether, there she is. I'm shallow. I just want yummy man heroes. My eyes are strained. Every time they announce another woman hero, my eyes roll. Well, you're just a self-hating woman. That's all you are, Donna Hergenrether. No, I'm not. I swear to Bob. I am literally sober as a bird. Could not be more sober. I got off work and I cleaned this back room a little bit. I did pull beer cans off of here because I had like 16 beer cans sitting next to here from playing Sea of Thieves with my peeps. I like to have some grog when I'm playing my game. My buddy Andy is in here. The Mark Hamill train is more off the rails than East Palestine. Damn. Get after it, I guess. Holy cow, man. Raging Rhino pops in. Disney Star Wars isn't made for Star Wars fans anymore. I've hit a new level of apathy on this. Well, I think, man, to be honest, it's good to see you, Raging, by the way. Good to see you, Rhino. To be honest with you, it's tough because I'm torn between two worlds right now. Like, I want to be so mad. And I am super mad. I'm super pissed because I feel like it's being mishandled. And it wouldn't take all that much to get it on the right track again. The problem is, it seems to me at this point, it's so ingrained and it's such a normal thing for Lucasfilm. I mean, look at the movie announcements we got. You have a movie trilogy, the Star Wars trilogy that came after George Lucas should have printed money like it's going out of style. I mean, printing money. They paid $4 billion for Star Wars, okay? The movies didn't make back that $4 billion. And then, on top of that, they spent another $2 billion in parks. That were solely for the sequel trilogy fans. So if you have something that's trending net down, why would you reinvest in that? It's not the stock market where you have an established company like, that you can invest in it when it's low and it's going to come back up. That's not what's going to happen. That's not how fandoms work. And I had a really interesting conversation the other day about basically having bean counters that are, they don't understand the heart of Star Wars, and people don't understand why a kid in 1980 or a kid in 2000, 1999, 2002, 2005, somewhere around there would love Star Wars either. They're like, oh, well, here's a thing from your childhood that should make you happy. By the way, we're going to put fucking Jack Black and Lizzo in Star Wars, and you are going to eat that shit up. What does it have to do with the rest of everything? Absolutely nothing. But hey, it's Jack Black and Lizzo. We got one for the old white guys and then one for the old check mark. So what do you think? Stupid! Probably going to see me smoking a lot tonight because this shit's giving me a headache. And then beyond that, too, again, like there's so much time you can have in between Return of the Jedi and the sequel trilogy. There's so much time you can spend. There's so much shit. There's so much shit that you could do in that time frame, right? And I remember early on Jon Favreau basically saying, like, we want to stay in our time. We want to hang out here and tell as many stories as we possibly can in this time frame before we move on to the sequel trilogy. And yet, we're already making massive ties to the sequel trilogy again. What are we doing? Didn't the prequels not seem made for Star Wars fans when they were out? Sure did for me. I love the shit out of it. It made total sense. Because I watched the original trilogy before I watched the prequel trilogy. Now, again, just for posterity's sake, I have to mention, I was a kid when I watched the prequel trilogy. I love that shit. I eat up the prequels. I've gone on multiple channels of OT trilogy fans that are like, the prequels suck. And I'm like, fuck you. They're amazing. all of their cringy awesomeness. I love it. I love all of it. But it seems like a different kind of cringe. Because when I go back and I look at the dialogue, dialogue has always been this big battleground for the prequels, right? The dialogue sucked in the prequels. It was trash. It was horrible. While I have to agree, maybe it wasn't the best, and there's some weirdness in there, they weren't throwing all kinds of weird shit in it like they are in Mando Season 3. There is some really weird stuff in Mando 3. And there seems to be two different obsessions that I've noticed in Mandalorian Season 3 that are fucking up the show, excuse my French, that are completely wrecking the show's dialogue. Somebody in the writer's room has a massive obsession with pirates, and then somebody else in the writer's room is a massive medieval times fan. And those two things are just coming together in Mandalorian Season 3. We had a literal fucking space pirate yell "Avast." What? Rage! Rage! I mean, it's just, this defies all logic for me. Now, if I completely remove myself as a Star Wars fan from this and just kind of basically look at this as an outsider, say a businessman, or, just your average Joe walking down the street, and I tell you, look, this is what happened with the sequel trilogy after George Lucas left. We decided we were going to scrap his treatment for the sequel trilogy. We're not going to use it. We're going to do our own thing. Okay. All right. Sure. I mean, it makes sense. You got your own creative teams. So what happened? Well, the first one made just an ass load of money. Like, awesome. Great. Okay. What was it about? Well, basically, we just remade one of George's movies. Okay, that's fine. Like, I get it. You're revamping it. Okay, so you did one of George's movies. What happened with the next one? Made about 40% less than the first one. But that's okay. We're gonna come out with another one. Okay, well, what happened with the third one? Made half again as much less than the first one that came out. So it made half as much as the remake of George's movie. Yeah. Okay, so that's probably a bad idea. I think you should probably change direction, right? No, actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to build 2 massive parks on either side of the country. That's going to cost $2 billion. Isn't that like all the profit you made from the movies? Yeah. Okay. And then you paid $4 billion on top of that? Yeah. Okay, so are you going to explore some other parts of the universe? Yeah, totally. We're going to make a TV show.
Listen,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
Driving me to drink, Disney. And then here's the best part. When all of that fails, okay? Actually, I shouldn't say all of that fails. Once you finally have a successful franchise flagship show built in The Mandalorian, and you're moving forward with it, and people are liking it, the internet exploded when Luke Skywalker came back. They're like, Mando's the man. They're selling the shit out of Mandalorian helmets. Everybody's buying the stuff. It's not even in the parks. Sad and lonely Rey has been there for fucking 4 years, just walking around in Galaxy's Edge like, why doesn't anybody pay attention to me? Like, I don't know, buddy. Once they finally establish The Mandalorian and people are stoked, what do? They're like, fuck it. Let's switch it up. It's going to be the Bo Katan show now. Why? Because fuck you guys. He's too masculine. People like him too much. We need to get rid of this. This is making way too much money. Get it out of here. Let's make it the Bo Katan show. Well, that's an interesting decision. Why would you do that? Oh, by the way, we're going to release some other stuff too. I'm like, okay, holy cow. Maybe they're finally going to move on. We're going to do something different. We're going to get some new movies. What are you going to do? We're going to go back to that shit that lost all that money.
Stupid!
You must. So when people are like, Oh, let's not forget that as well. Look, this is one of those things. This is much more of this is a political thing. The firing of Gina. That pissed me off to no end. It still pisses me off to this day. Because that's another thing that shoehorned the shit of them as they're releasing Mandalorian. Now we're getting excited because one of our favorite characters in Gina Carano and Cara Dune, who for some reason a lot of people on the internet say played no major role at all in Mandalorian season 2, which is just comical to me. Go back and watch it. Please go back and watch it. They're like, you know what? I don't like your tweets, miss. Why don't you just get out of here? So they fired fucking Gina Carano. And now Favreau and Filoni, who have this entire plan for these shows that are going to branch off from The Mandalorian, they screwed it. They absolutely screwed it, because you have to think about it as a writer. If you've got Rangers of the New Republic, all these different shows that are all going to be interconnected, and they let go of Gina, and all of a sudden Rangers of the New Republic just goes... What happens to your web for all your other shows? It completely implodes. It completely implodes. Dude. And then people have the gall to be like, this is what they were going to do the whole time. Stop being a fucking grifter, you piece of shit. I swear to God, like, the only reason you're doing this is because you want subscribers, you nerf herder. You're a freaking nerf herder.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder!
You can't use that word! Only we can use that word!
Dude, what would you do? Darcipio says, X-Men Clownfish is reporting that Pedro Pascal is out at Mando. I mean, we heard rumors of some of that stuff bumbling around a long time ago anyway. God only knows if that's true or not. I have no idea. But I mean, wouldn't you be pissed off if you got this amazing flagship Star Wars show where you were going to be the head of it, you were going to have an awesome, amazing arc, maybe you wind up as Mandalore himself, and then it's like, by the way, Star Wars Phase 4. Oh, that, you know what? That's almost the best part. So all these announcements that we just got out from Star Wars Celebration, apparently nobody at Lucasfilm watches Marvel. Because what just happened with Marvel Phase 4? What did they do? They went 1,000% women power. And everything fucking tanked. It did not go well. It did not go well at all. Now, I'm not a Marvel guy. If you want the Marvel stuff, go find a Marvel YouTuber. But I can promise you that Phase 4 did not go over well. And so now we're in Star Wars Phase 4. So the critical missteps that Lucasfilm has made over the past 3 years, what am I talking about? The critical missteps that they've taken since they bought it. It's baffling. It boggles the mind. I don't understand how somebody could make every wrong decision along the way. But somehow they've managed to make every wrong decision along the way, with the exception of Mandalorian, I would say. And again, I feel like I have to say this on stream. I am so back and forth on Andor. I love it. I hate it. I love it. I hate it. I love it. I hate it. But the one thing you have to admit is that it was a well-made show. Whether you like the story or not, or you like Cassian Andor, or you care about him because he's a minor character, whatever the case may be, the show was well done. I don't think I did take my blood pressure pill today. Do I have blood pressure pills? I might need some after this shit. Pedro drama since just after season 1. Yeah, dude. Basically, that's what I was saying. Like, we've been hearing about this stuff with the helmet drama. That was a big thing for a long time, and yada, yada, yada. It just goes on and on. God only knows what's actually true and what's not true. The bottom line is the trades got to make a buck. You need the clicks just the same as anybody else, so they'll make shit up left and right. Joey Ebb says, all they literally had to do was not make the rule about Din not being able to take his helmet off. Yeah. All right, so since we're here, Captain Ordo says, Lieutenant Biscuits, I'm a bit behind. That's okay, man. Thank you for being here. Oh my God, has it really been that long? Everybody raise a glass. Raise a glass to the utter mismanagement. I won't say the destruction. So I've never been the guy that will say Star Wars is dead, because I respect George too much for that. I know that he sold it, but the spirit of Star Wars is so indomitable. I think no matter what happens, we're going to keep fighting to try to see his legacy, if not restored, respected. Felicity Pooball says they only made money off Multiverse of Madness, 25% of the gross of No Way Home. Everything else failed. Yep. Fumble after fumble. See, you guys are the problem. You guys are the issue. You're terrible human beings. How dare you be critical of anything that a corporation does with your favorite childhood stories and heroes? How dare you? How dare you?
I will send you to Jesus.
Raging Rhino says, I can't get on board with Andor from either. Many problems with it, but I also hate the fans out there. They say Star Wars is for kids when you complain about things like Mando, but Andor is for adults. Yeah, so that I think that was a big change. Was the mood in Andor. It was definitely more of a, I wouldn't call it more of an adult show. I mean, shit, look at what happens in some of the Star Wars movies under George. I mean, saying it's just for kids is such a, it's a shitty argument. I don't know how to elaborate on that anymore. It's a shitty argument because, to be honest with you, you could make a absolutely horrible like war movie with mutilation and death and say it's for kids. Oh my God, that's Revenge of the Sith. I don't know what you want to hear, but I'm not sure how much of it is Kathleen or how much she's told to do by Disney. That's the thing we'll never know is peons. That's the thing, man. That's the thing. So I think a big indicator is going to be, and everybody take a deep breath, get excited, be happy, because before too long, she will be gone. Now, before too long, how long that is, that's all speculation, but I'd say buckle down. I would say this large, big last push here are the death throes of Kathleen's tenure at Lucasfilm. That's what I would say. I think these are the death throes of Kathleen Kennedy's tenure at Lucasfilm. Now, I don't have a mask on, and I'm not telling you that in 5 years she's going to be gone. But I don't think that this is going to last much longer. The bottom line is, I don't know why in the corporate world it must take 10 years for somebody to figure out what's going on, but I think people are starting to get a whiff that the stuff that's happening is not going to make them the money that they need made. And the big problem, I would say the big problem is a lot of these projects go into production years and years and years and years behind market trends. And so by the time they actually make it to the screen, it's already 4 or 5 years behind the market trend. So, but I could have told you 5 years ago, hey, you shouldn't do this.
You fucking nerd.
But what do I know? They will never give me a they'll never give me a job at Lucasfilm. I know that. They should make me head of story group. Let's get some X-Wings in the chat. If I should be the head of the Lucasfilm story group. Maybe I can send this to Lucasfilm and be like, look, this is what the people want. And I saw a chat earlier, I think it was from Brian W. said, you hit 6K today. That's reason enough to dance. It is. We hit 6K this morning. Let's have a dance. Felicity Poobah says, corporate types sniff off their farts. Sniff their own farts. It only stinks when they have to smell other people's farts, and that's when things change. You're reminding me of that episode of South Park when there's like, that is precisely what I feel like the writing process is at Lucasfilm. I feel like they come in at 8 o'clock in the morning, they wash the glasses, they get the fingerprints off, maybe change their underwear to something a little bit more breathable for maximum airflow. And then they all sit around the writing table. They pull their pants down and they just right into a glass and but the problem is with the writing group, I think they pass the glasses around. I think they sniff each other's farts just as much as they sniff their own farts. Because the amount of smug was the smug episode. The amount of smug that's in Star Wars right now is just fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And it's meaningless. The heart and the soul of Star Wars is what's missing. And I think that's what so many fans are kind of crying out for right now. It's that the heart and the soul of it, the love for Star Wars is what's missing. That stuff. It's tough. People talk mad shit, but stay subscribed to Disney Plus. Clown. I'm subscribed to Disney Plus. I have to watch this shit. I have to. Vote with your wallets, though. For legitimacy. Go into when these movies start coming out. Bro, go pay for another movie and then go watch it if you have to do a review. KG just popped in and said, howdy. Surely we're not dogging on last night's episode, right? We might do a little bit of dogging. Healthy dogging, though. Healthy dogging. I will say that this was absolutely the best episode of the season. How much that is saying, I'm going to leave that for you guys to decipher. But we're going to talk about that very shortly. Kennedy is destroying Mando because John brought in Luke. I don't know. That's kind of crazy. Just so crazy it might work. I don't know. See, this is the problem. I don't know Kathleen Kennedy. She might be that vindictive of a bitch. She just might be. We won't know. Did you guys see the video on Twitter? You're gonna love this. This kind of made the rounds a little bit ago. This made the rounds, but let me know if you can hear this.
Stop the creator.
Did you get some sound there? Man, I'm gonna have to use the body in a minute. Oh, we're gonna go there. We're going to Mando. We're gonna run over Mando really quick, go through the episode, and then I'm gonna do pop-ins so we can get everybody in for the pop-ins. Because I know people are, this is gonna be an interesting episode to hear what people are saying about it. There's a lot of key jangling, but there's some good action. There's a lot of stuff. All right. So let's listen to this. This was at Star Wars Celebration. I was watching this live on Echo Base. This is hilarious. So they're going to announce Tony Gilroy, obviously the writer for Andor. This is the Andor panel. And then they're going to announce Kathleen Kennedy and then Cassian Andor himself, Diego Luna. So let's just listen. Let's just listen to what, and remember, when you go back to the beginning of the stream and we listened to the Variety article saying that this is the best of the Star Wars fan base. Only the people here at Star Wars Celebration. This is the good part of the fandom. Let's take a listen.
Stop the creator and executive producer, Tony Gilroy. Executive producer and president of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy. Executive producer, Cassian Andor himself, Diego Luna. Stop the creator.
Bro. I mean, come on. Who's arguing this at this point? Legitimately. Who's arguing that this is... dude.
Executive producer, Cassian Andor himself, Diego Luna.
Listen to that crowd.
Kennedy.
Listen to Kathleen Kennedy.
Executive producer, Cassian Andor himself, Diego Luna.
Hold on, let me get rid of this. She wearing dunks? Hell yeah, she's wearing dunks. She's hip. She's cool. She's young. My name's Kathleen Kennedy. Ducka, 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 ducka. Aw. Nobody likes you. You should leave. You should leave. It's kind of crazy, man. Kind of crazy. So yeah, let's get ready for some, you know, phase 4 of Star Wars, but we'll see how they do, man. Look, I'm not the problem is that this phase 4 thing is going to last all the way into like 2032. So it's not like it's, you know, a year or two that's the phase 4, or 4 years that's the phase 4. It's going to be like 6 or 7 years. For show. All right, let's get into this episode. I just want to get through this quickly so I can get you guys on and we can talk about this stuff. But the episode starts out back by the way, spoilers. If anybody hasn't seen the episode yet, leave or stay. If you don't have Disney Plus, I'm going to go over the whole thing for you, buddy. So we start back on Coruscant, and man, finally, they nail Coruscant. They finally nail Coruscant again. And then they go back down, and we get Blade Runner with Lieutenant Biscuits. I don't know why they just completely they murphed it up when they were down at the bottom, because when you think about like lower levels of Coruscant, they're always the signs are like hollow. They're hollow signs. They're not like neon standing on the side of buildings. There are some on the side of buildings. I shouldn't say that, but so Lieutenant Biscuits is in Coruscant, sneaking around after basically, you know, wiping Dr. Pershing off the planet. And what happens? We get a probe droid that comes up. And you know what's funny? I don't seem to remember a big glaring red eye on probe droids. I could be mistaken, but I've seen Empire a couple times. I don't remember like a big glowing red eye. But look who shows up. Who's she sending a transmission to? Moff Gideon. Moff Gideon. They're like, hey, by the way, that stuff with the pirates on Navarro, it didn't work. Why? Because Mandalorians got involved. What Mandalorians? Well, it was Din Djarin and Bo Katan. He's like, I'm going to take care of that stuff. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And then we get this scene of him walking down a hall. Let's see if I can. This is a long episode. So if they... Okay, you can kind of see it. So they do a little bit of a callback to the Phantom Menace with like the lasers opening up. And then we see all these Beskar sort of phase 2 / Mando looking trooper suits hanging out. I don't know if those are actual troopers or what, but I think this is the guard of the Shadow Council. And where is he? It's going to be so hard to get these freeze frames. It's such a long episode that like a minor mouse movement is just... It's like 378 frames. There we go. I'll leave it up to you guys what you think, but I'm pretty sure these are Palpies up in these here Spa-RT cloning cylinders. To anybody who doesn't know what that is, read the books! So we get this Dark Council, right? Or Shadow Council, I should say. The Shadow Council that Moff Gideon shows up to. Oh, use arrow keys? So this was the big one. So we didn't see Thrawn here. Obviously, we saw Thrawn in the announcements for Celebration, but Captain Pelion. So Captain Pelion is a big one. If you've been through the books, this is a very important person in Timothy Zahn's world. And then whoever wrote what was the name of that book? Dawn First Voyage. I can't even remember the name of it right now. Basically, what these guys are sitting here and talking about is that, hey, look, we can't do too much. We don't want to get discovered. And he's like, well, I need a bunch of ships because I got to go kill all these Mandalorians. Keep that in your mind, because that's going to come up later. We go back to Grief Karga. The edgy council. That's funny. Man, I'm sorry. What a dumb nitpick. Remember Vader's lenses or newer models? I don't know. I don't even remember what I said. So, the Mandos, these are Bo Katan's mercenaries, the Lost Fleet, the Night Owls, whatever you want to call them. They're showing back up on Navarro because they got the call that they're allowed to stay there now. So we get Moff Gideon's ship with the big mythosaur on the bottom of it. They show up. There's this huge procession about all these Mandalorians showing up on Navarro, and it's like, damn, all right, this is home base. Like, this is where they're gonna be launching their operations now. We get the Skittles Mandalorians, or the M&M Mandalorians, whatever you want to call them. And then we get the Mandalorians that actually sort of look like Mandalorians back here. They have a discussion, and they're like, by the way, I know we just brought everybody here. We moved the entire fleet. We spent all of this money spending everybody to get here, but we're leaving. We're leaving. We're going to Mando. So they all peaced out. And then I don't know if anybody who's newer to the channel or who's been around, but do you remember 6 months ago when I said Grogu was going to wind up in a mech suit? He was going to wind up in IG-11. Bibbidi bobbidi boop. Here comes your IG-11 mech, who is now apparently IG-12. They've renamed him IG-12. That's a lot of paint. Yeah. Hate to be the guy appointed to paint on that ship. Yeah, dude, I can't imagine. They spent 12 million credits on just the paint to get that on there. Yeah, you remember? I was talking about this. Darth Thing says, I actually liked this scene. I'm glad you did, man. That's cool. I mean, it's kind of fun having Grogu in a mech. They added these buttons, so whenever Grogu wants to say yes or no, they just little Grogu says yes, 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 like 10,000 times. I'll see if I can hit this without getting copyrighted really quick. I think we can do it from right here. Okay. Listen to how many times this kid says yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes.
You get the idea. Grogu's in there smashing that button. Yes, 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 yes. So they all make the decision to go to Mandalore. They position the fleet over Mandalore. This is actually a really dope scene. I'll be honest with you. When they were coming out of hyperspace over Mandalore, and I think that's Concordia in the background, if I'm not mistaken. They show up. They send a team down to secure. I got to be honest with you. Like, these scenes where they have the Mandos in the dropships and they're dropping the Mandos places have been my favorite part of the entire portion of Mandalorian Season 3. When they're in the dropships and they all drop out and they hit the jetpacks and they're coming in, they set up a perimeter. That's like definitely my favorite part. So they set up a perimeter. They're like, I don't know why we didn't just listen to Mando and Bo Katan. There's like nothing going on here. Empty planet. We're all good. When we finally come across, like I said, who remembers a little bit earlier in the episode when I said somebody has a fucking hard-on for pirates in the writing room? Somebody has a hard-on for pirates. We get a land cruising pirate ship here with some old Mandalorians who've seen a lot of things in their time. And I kid you not, 2 minutes later into the episode, I don't remember who it was. I think it was this guy. He's like, come on, lads, down to the old forge. Check off the starboard side. I'm not even kidding. It was like Jeffrey Bloom. Jeffrey Bloom was back on the helm. So they have a little bit of dinner. And then we get this really weird scene. Now, it may not have been weird to anybody else when they were watching it, but essentially we get what I would call the transfer of the show from the Mandalorian to the Bo Katan show. This was the big transfer. So Bo's out there in her fields, just thinking about Mandalore, just thinking about it. And Din walks up and basically swears his fealty. He's like, your story hasn't been written yet. I will serve you until I can no longer. It was weird. It just felt really off pace for the show. I don't know. It was really like a... Oh, Jeffrey Rush. Did I say Jeffrey Bloom? Jeffrey Rush. So anyway, dude, I really think my chat on StreamYard is super far behind. Hold on. Let's take a look at this poll because I got to close this poll real quick. Were you excited about the celebration announcements? 20% said yes. 37% said no. 16% said 1 or 2. 28% said make it stop. Sell it all. Please. I wasn't expecting that one to be so crazy. Yeah, Felicity nailed it on the head. You're my queen, my lightning McQueen. It was just kind of weird. I felt like it really signified the handoff. Like, this is no longer a show about Din Djarin. This is the Bo Katan show. This is about the Mandalorian. It's about Bo Katan. Yeah, it was just kind of weird. I don't know. So anyways, the next morning they basically set off. Two Mandos get into a fight, kind of inconsequential, and Baby Yoda breaks it up with his IG-11 unit. And then, oh my god, wouldn't you know it, we wind up with another super mega monster. We got another Godzilla. He's kind of hard to see there, but you can see his mouth and his tongue right there. We got another super monster right next to the forge. Basically, the whole ship gets blown up. Everybody retreats into a cave. They're like, all right, damn, we got to be close to the forge at this point, right? We must be. Helmet hiss. Can I grab that again? I love how they're just absolutely stealing Vader's helmet hiss for everything. So now they're underground, and then all of a sudden, ka-chow! What happens? We get all those guys that we saw earlier. You see Meth Gator? Meth Gator, a kaiju shows up. So they're underground, and these the Imperial commandos with the Beskar show up and start fighting the Mandalorians. We get kind of a cool gunfight. A lot of these guys die. I don't think it was a Zillo. The tail didn't look right for a Zillo beast. Yeah, I don't think it was. Unless it was some kind of Zillo beast that feeds on, like, I don't know, nuclear glass or something like that. I don't know. I'd probably buy this helmet. Honestly, if I'm being real with you, like, as a collector, I would probably buy this helmet. It's actually a pretty cool helmet. I don't know why they didn't put Beskar covering literally their vital organs on these guys. I probably would have done that when I was designing these troopers. Legs, not so much of an issue, but covering the vital organs in the middle, I feel like if you're making a believable armor design, covering the vital organs would have been something I probably would have thought about. So they're fighting these commandos. They basically get like shoehorned into a corner. And guess who gets captured? Mando gets captured. So what we wind up with is a standoff. God, their armor is kind of friggin' dope. And we get what we see. Moff Gideon in his own Beskar armor. He called it Dark Trooper armor, which is kind of weird. So this is a callback to, like, for me, this is a callback to way earlier. I think it was, I don't remember which episode it was in season 2, but he was like, you know, there were iterations of or was it? You know what? I think it was Dr. Pershing that was talking about it. He said there were iterations of the Dark Trooper, and then the final solution, like the thing that they had to get rid of, was the person in the suit. That was like the last fault in the entire design. And then all of a sudden, Gideon's like, I removed the last fault, which is I put myself in it. And it's just kind of, oh, here it is. Yeah. And the most impressive improvement is that it has me in it. I just thought that was like, well, I guess we forgot about the dialogue from earlier. But anyways, apparently this entire time on Mandalore, there has been a massive underground Imperial hangar completely built, ready to go, with this gigantic beast living no more than 15 feet away from it, and it's never been an issue. This was the part that this was really the only part that like really bugged me about that. But he's basically like, I'm gonna kill all y'all. I'm gonna kill all y'all. And everybody's like, oh, we'll just use the Darksaber and cut a hole in the back. And then big boy Paz over here just goes absolutely ham with the MG42 blaster and just starts killing them left, right, upside down, and sideways. Absolutely killing all of these guys in Beskar armor, which was kind of crazy. Winds up wasting every single one of them. And then guess who walks out from the smoke? Right on cue, the Praetorian Guards. And obviously the Praetorian Guards just smoke Paz within a matter of moments. Within a matter of moments. And then we get this visual of Paz dead. And then BAM! Okay. So here's what I would say about this episode. And I'm going to bring some people in. Pop-ins are starting now. We're going to bring in people one by one. I'm actually going to bring two of you in at first to talk a little bit, because Daddy got to use the bathroom a little bit. But that was the episode. And a lot of people are like, bro, that was just incredible. It was so amazing. And I'm like, look, that's what it should have been from day one. That's how it should have been going from the start. I'm dropping the link in the chat right now for these pop-ins. I feel like this should have been a mid to low grade episode of Mando. Now, please don't get me wrong. They are beautiful. These are absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous episodes. But the problem is, it doesn't matter how beautiful these things are. If the story sucks ass, people aren't going to buy into it. That's the bottom line. And what's so funny that's so different when you look at a show like Andor is that the scenes weren't crazy CG beautiful. It was just a practical set. And people talking. You know what I'm saying? Did that link come through? Felt like Clone Wars Season 1. I can see that. I can see that for sure. Oh, look, we got two people. Okay, I'm going to bring you in because I have to tinkle. Daddy's got to have a tinkle. What's up, Blood Guilty?
What's going on?
This is your first time on my channel, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Nice. Daimyo, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes. All right, you boys talk amongst yourselves for a minute about what you thought about that episode. I'm going to be right back.
What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on?
What was your name again? I missed it. I can't see it either.
Blood Guilty.
Nice. How do you like the episode?
I mean, it's John and Dave are the ones writing this, so it's really surprising because the last season ended on such a high note.
Yeah,
and it just seems like after that, the experience has 2 years later been not worthwhile.
So I hate to say it, I don't know, before this season I admired John and Dave a lot, and what I've been griping on is I feel like the 2 year wait did not pay itself off. Mm-hmm. We waited 2 years.
No, it didn't.
To see a season where it took 7 episodes for us to actually see something worthwhile. And you know, like I felt like it was constantly the storyline was just diverging episode after episode. They showed IG88 the first or second episode, right? Like
IG11, IG88's OT.
Sorry, but you get what I'm saying, like, right? Like they set that up like at the very beginning of the season, and we're only now getting paid off with that. I felt like this episode, in terms of the like Mandalore stuff, should have been shown like maybe episode 2 or 3, and we get a kickoff of like where this is going. I'm kind of tired of this whole, and it's not even just Star Wars Disney Plus. Like the Marvel shows do this too, where they make you wait till the very last 2 episodes to actually see something that's worthwhile. I think that's a
payoff that they set up in the first episode, but it's not a big payoff. It's just
it's dumb.
Kind of a shitty payoff.
It's dumb. I mean, it's stupid writing in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a lot of filler, to be honest.
Yeah.
A lot of filler. And there's nothing wrong with filler, like Clone Wars animated series. There's a lot of filler for that, and I didn't mind it as much. But you can't have this much filler and only have 8 episodes. I think that's an issue.
Well, we didn't see the big bad right there until right at the end. Okay, I'm gonna peel you off one by one. Hold on, I'm gonna grab. So Daimyo, you were first here. Blood Guilty. I'm gonna talk to you in just a second. Okay. All right, Daimyo.
Yeah.
Give me a rating on this episode.
For me, it was like a 6.3, 6.5. Like it was above average in terms of like production, but in terms of storyline, I couldn't give it anything higher. One thing that I really hated about it was like the first 30 minutes of it. Virtually, you didn't have to put that in there for it to be a productive, like
kind of like that Jack Black episode, right?
Yeah, right. And like, okay, so one scene I specifically wanted to like ask you about was like when they were right before Moff Gideon, they got trapped in that little like subsection of the 2 doors. So they go in there, it closes, they shoot, and then when he asks for the dark saber from Bo, like she like dramatically pulls it out, and then when she was about to go cut the door behind her, like she turns around and they all start blasting at the door, knowing that it's not going to do anything. It just, for me, I felt like it was like pointless.
So
like,
there are some Disney moments in there for sure. The big one for me is going to be Paz Vizsla not taking 2 steps backward and then closing the door.
Okay, that's pretty
because clearly nobody can shoot through the door. We've all been shooting at the shit like nobody can shoot through the door. Take 2 steps back, close the door. Now your kid doesn't have to grow up without a father. Like,
yeah, I mean that's like one of my biggest gripes with it. Like,
yeah,
in terms of visual.
Stupid little things here and there. But would you say the best episode of the season or no?
Next to the first episode, yes, I would say.
Okay.
Yes, because the opening was not bad. If they followed this, you know, I could.
Fair opinion. I can appreciate it. All right, thank you, brother.
All right, man.
See you later. All right, next down is Blood Guilty. What's up, man? You muted.
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay, so what do you give this on a rating scale, 1 to 10?
I guess I'd give it a 5.
Best season of the or best episode of the season, or
no? The best episode, I thought, if I have to pick one, was the episode prior to this. I think it was
the Jack Black and Lizzo one.
Sorry, the one right before that. That's right, dude. I completely forgot about that one because
we've all started to put that out of our heads already, so that's fine.
And that one I didn't even actually see. Well, technically I did because I watched. I'm a Patreon member over at Echo Base, so I did see it, but I didn't actually like watch it. It was just playing in the background. That, you know what I mean? I wasn't actually like watching the episode, so. But yeah, right. You know, the thing though, like I was saying right before, was the 8 episodes. You can't have so much filler and only have the 8 episodes. I think that's a real problem. You know what I mean? So
no, I agree. Yeah, and like like I just said last time, waiting until the 7th episode to have your villain actually appear is redonkulous. And this is something that we talked about with God, I don't even remember what the analogy was, but I mean, bring him in. Oh, it was the Pershing arc. Have that in the first episode. And if you want to end it in episode 3 or 4, that's fine. But introduce that arc early, have it play out. That way you have some split storylines, and it's not just like, well, I'm flying over here, and I'm doing stuff. And
I mean, first off, Luke and Grogu should have been together, and then Mando should have been its own story arc. They should have had 2 stories going at once that converges at the end. Well, that's just how normal still, look at Star Wars. They always go their separate ways.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And there's 2 different things going on, and then at the end they meet together, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it's just, there's no storytelling hardly going on at all. It's like they just reached, they had no ideas left, and they just literally picked things out of a bucket. All
right, so hype level for season ender here. What are you thinking?
My hype for it? I don't expect much, honestly. There'll be a big battle.
They tell you to go in without expectations.
There's obviously going to be, some sort of battle. Maybe someone else is going to die, whether it be Mando or whoever it is.
You think Boba Fett's going to show up?
I kind of thought that, but then I thought, like, what could be, like, why? You know what I mean? But I guess at this point, with the writing the way it is, you don't have to think too much into it. You know what I mean? He'll just show up.
I almost think you get a Luke Skywalker Chapter 16 style re-entrance for Boba Fett to be like, yo, we fucked up on Book of Boba Fett super bad, but guess what? He's back and now he's kicking ass.
That is possible.
Which I would be very grateful for, but at the same time, that doesn't fix shit for me, dog.
No, it doesn't. I can't even use the outfit on Fortnite. That's how bad it pisses me off. I can't rock it. I can't. I'll rock the man. I have all of them. And I even have the Rey one, unfortunately, but I had to get that to get the back piece, the Rebel back piece before they released them individually. So
Gatekeeper saying it won't happen. Frank says, will they bring Luke back for last episode to save everyone? Like, dude, you know what? Honestly,
I mean, he's there.
I wouldn't be happy with that. They haven't earned it.
But he is there. So
he is there. They haven't earned it. Yet. You know what I mean? And like, is that just what he's gonna be from here on out? Is like, oh well, I guess we gotta get out of a fucking hole. Somebody call Luke. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't want that. Mm-hmm. All right, brother. Well, thank you for coming on Blood Guilty. I gotta grab another guy here.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you, brother. It's the Sith Lord, Felix.
Hey, man.
What's up, brother?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm nauseated by most of the stuff I've been seeing. Honestly, this has been... I'm finally coming out of my shell and just being like, you know what, man? I'm hurt.
I'm here for you, boss.
I'm not feeling good about this, okay? I need some therapy here, man.
You're not alone, man. You're not alone.
So what'd you
I
think?
feel your pain.
What'd you think of this episode?
Oh, man. First, thank you for having me on.
Always.
As far as I'm kind of with everyone else. I'm at a 5 or 6. In fact, this show made me realize how lenient I've been with the rest of the season. It almost lowered the rest of the score for the rest of the season, like by 2-3 points each episode. Because this episode was good. It was the best episode of the season. I'm with you. Best episode of the season. But
yeah, so that's the problem, right? So if you're like, you know what? There were portions of this that I enjoyed. I'm not going to roast the shit out of this episode. I'll give it a 5.5. I'll give it a 6. What does that say about the rest? That's the problem.
Exactly. I even kind of liked the Biscuits episode, you know? There were a lot
of people who liked the Biscuits episode.
Yeah. I thought it was a nod to the Twilight Zone or Outer Limits. It had that kind of vibe going. And I get it. But now they're doing... Like, then the Jack Black episode was like this procedural Law and Order almost. Like, what do you do with droids?
A lot of people said it was. So a lot of people said so Andor fans rejoiced on the Lieutenant Biscuits episode because that was very much an Andor episode.
Yeah.
Look at the difference between those two episodes and the type of storytelling. And then a lot of people said what that Lizzo and Jack Black episode was a Star Trek episode. They come to a planet. They have to fix something on the planet, and then right at the end, there's like something about the crew. You know what I mean? That's what it was.
Yeah, that's actually 100% true. And you know, I made my friend watch that episode today, or like maybe an hour or so before. You know, because this dude rags on the prequels. I'm like you. I love the prequels. I'm a prequel guy. I prefer the originals, but I love the prequels. I saw Phantom Menace like 6 times. Opening day I saw it like twice. You know, it was one of those special time.
Yeah.
But this episode puts any type of cheese, or the last episode, the Jack Black episode, put any type of cheese in the prequels to shame. You know,
that
like,
was a
I don't want to hear it
really
anymore.
weird choice, man. I do not understand that choice at all.
Yeah.
It defies logic for me as a Star Wars fan. If I'm sitting in the studio talking about what we're going to do for this episode, it defies logic.
Oh, I really think Favreau checked out. You know, after Gina left or got fired, I think he was like, I think you could come to him with any idea. And he was like, you want to put Yoda, Baby Yoda in a droid? Yeah, sure. Okay. You want to do a Biscuits episode? Yeah. Okay, fine. I just think like he has zero care in this anymore. You know,
well, and that's my big thing right now is it just feels like they don't give a shit. And that's what's really pissing me off, because if I had the chance to go in and make an episode of a Mandalorian show, look, they may have to call it in and get a change order for the budget, but it's going to be the best fucking episode of Star Wars you've seen since 2005.
It needs to be like a Star Wars episode 10 or something. I mean, I don't know. It's got to be that caliber. And like I think I said earlier, this whole season could have been shaved down to a movie. Could have been a movie, a Disney Plus exclusive movie, whatever. Don't even put in a theater. Big throwaway.
Well, you cut out 60% of most of these episodes, and yeah, you have you have a 45-minute special.
Yeah,
you know what
even
I mean?
Worse. Wow. Yeah. I was also gonna say that if you would have taken those Mando episodes of in Boba Fett, that episode would have been a great opener for season 3. You would have seen Luke again. You would have seen some sort of training, and it would have been a great start to the episode. Like, even if you would have taken that end of Boba Fett and started Mando with that, I think we wouldn't be having this conversation. So some of those filler episodes wouldn't have seen the light of day. We wouldn't see Jack Black and Lizzo. I could almost guarantee that. But I think they felt they had to save Boba Fett and add these episodes there, and then they're borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. Now they have no material to work with.
Season 3 of Mandalore openings with him going to that ring and cutting people in half with the Darksaber, hurting himself, and talking to Paz Vizsla and the armor. Oh.
Yeah, man.
Way different boat. All right, buddy. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Hype for the next episode. What are you thinking?
No hype, man. I mean, like, there's no momentum. Mando is captured once again.
Yeah.
Mando's gonna have to be saved by. It's gonna be Whammon. It's gonna be Ahsoka. We're probably gonna see Sabine. It's gonna be and we're gonna see Thrawn.
You think it's gonna be a send off for the Ahsoka show?
I think so.
Does that make sense time wise? I don't know.
To link it, well, at least to get people hyped for the Ahsoka show, they're gonna try to. I mean, listen, I've been wrong in almost every single prediction I make. So, like,
this guy is just erasing his whiteboard right now. I'm watching him down underneath.
Oh man! All right. So, thank you very much again for having me on. I love the hat, man, and congrats on 6K, man.
Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being here.
God bless. Have a good night.
All right, we'll see you. All right, now we got the Hangar Bay diversity hire. If I don't bring her on, the suits are coming after me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm still waiting on my check. Where's my
I cut the
reparations
check. I cut the check. It's, you know, when I factored in everything in the studio, what the stream is gonna make, it's a 74-cent check.
74 cents.
Yeah. That's what I usually make off of my videos and stuff. So
all right, I'll just take some drinks. Some free drinks. How
let's
about
do that? Let's go get a nice martini at a martini bar somewhere or something like that. I'll pay you that way.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
So you're clearly a massive Disney show. Big fan of all the stuff going on in Mandalorian season 3. Loving the representation. Loving the female power. Talk to me about it.
Well, of course I am.
Sorry.
I'm here being the queen of unpopular opinions yet again. I actually gave this one a 9.
Whoa. What?
Yes.
All right, talk to me.
I
Goose.
liked it.
Talk to
I
me,
really
Goose.
liked it.
What do you got? Talk to me.
Look, I have some of the same problems with the episode that a lot of people had. I didn't love the whole thing with Grogu being in a mech. You know, I thought that was stupid. However, you know, the situation with him and Din at the market, that was totally relatable. If you've ever been a parent or grandparent,
they don't stop picking shit up off the shelf.
Yeah, you that was totally relatable. So they kind of got me on their side with that. You know, I just liked it. It was one of the best, or actually the best of the season, I thought. And that's what I'm comparing it to. I'm comparing it to the other episodes. I'm not saying it's Taxi Driver. I'm not saying it's The Godfather, you know, but for what they've given us so far, especially this season, it's been the best that they've given us. I like it.
Yeah. I mean, I can't disagree. In my opinion, this is the best of the season, for sure. But the bar is fairly low for me.
Agreed. And I'm not saying I love the references to the sequel trilogy. You know, they had Commandant Hux there. You know, they had the clones in the canisters. They had the Praetorian Guards. So, you know, if anybody's still under the impression that they're not heading that way, then, you know, this should have formulated it for you. You know, this is real.
I'm still shocked that the conversation is still happening, that they could split timelines and they're not going to acknowledge the sequel trilogy. Like, dude, come on. Like, the writing is on the wall. It's been on the wall for a very long time. And I honestly, dude, Rey walking back out on stage actually really shocked the shit out of me. Not to get off topic from Mando, but what was your thought when you saw that?
I'll be honest. When the whole celebration thing happened, I was already in a horrible mood, and that put me in a way worse mood when she came out on stage. I was like,
Star
really?
Fans.
You really think this is going to work? You know, you saw what little applause that KK got when she walked on the stage after Tony Gilroy on a show that nobody watched.
Yeah.
So
that's the crazy part, is that people were clapping so hard for, you know, for Cassian Andor, somebody who apparently nobody cares about, and then Kathleen Kennedy goes crickets, and it's like, Jesus. And then the High Republic comes out, and there was not a peep from that audience. There was a paid 10-member group somewhere that they stuck in the middle where the mic would catch them, and you heard 10 people like, yeah, fuck yeah, and that was it. It's like, oh God, you guys have completely forgotten what Star Wars means.
You know, look, hey, that going back to the episode real quick. I mean, I liked it. It was the best one that they've given us, but that doesn't mean I still don't think that Lucasfilm needs to be blown up. Just blow the shit up, restart, get KK out, get some fresh blood in there, and maybe see if we can turn this thing around. But you know.
Well, and to 14, I'm going to get really nerdy on you right here, really quick. I apologize. 14B-Face says, doubt they split timelines, but the guards could exist even if the sequels do not. I hear you. There was a whole academy. We got I have a super dope figure of Jax back there. I mean, yeah, it was definitely a thing. That was something set up. I mean, they pulled Mandalorians in to fight, and they became those guards. The Imperial guards are the same thing as those Praetorian guards. I totally get it, but yeah, don't hold out hope, my brother. Please don't
Please
waste your
stop
time
living in
holding out hope.
denial, people. It's real. We
You
just gotta
will
accept the
be
truth.
Disappointed, I promise. All right, what's your hype level at for this next episode?
Well, I don't think it's going to be as good as this one.
Really?
But it's the same.
The
It's the
season
same.
finale?
Yeah, it's the same director though. So I mean, I expect we're going to get something similar. I know it's not going to be, you know, Lizzo and Jack Black level of crap.
I mean,
but,
no, that was hype. That shit was amazing.
Yeah,
I can't wait
start
for the
singing the
Lizzo
Peaches
Black
song.
series figure. I'm buying
If Jack Black had started singing Peaches in the middle of that episode, maybe that would have
God.
elevated.
Fuck. Why make great till they gotta be great? That should have been the elevator music in the little like trolley car, like the Disney trolley car. That would have made me happy. All right. Well, I hope I get to see you back after the season finale, and we can chat a little bit, and we can get a. We're all gonna have to come to terms with what just happened, because the flagship took a dig this season.
It did, but yeah, I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you, Felicity. I'll see you
Bye.
soon. All right. Next up, we got Mary Lanning. What's up, Mary? How you doing?
Well, I'm doing pretty good on the.
You're gonna tell me it's a 10 out of 10. I already know it.
Oh, well, the episode of Mandalorian was intense for me. I was like getting a little bit intense, like, whoa, what's all this? And then when Moff Gideon came back, I was like, uh-oh, Din Djarin's in deep trouble now.
Well,
So-
yeah, he's the big baddie.
Yeah, and I felt so sorry for Grogu. He's gonna miss him again. Like, oh, here we go again. But I'm glad to see him in that droid, you know. And when he's trying to break up that fight, I was about ready to chuckle, like, you know, like, yep, don't fight in front of him. Don't mess with him now. He's gonna try and choke you if you don't listen.
Yeah. All right. So, would you rate this episode, and then what is your hype level for the next episode?
I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. And then the next episode,
Mary Lanning just rated this episode lower than Felicity Poobell. I'm out of my mind right now. What?
I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. And then when the next episode, I'm hoping to see, you know, maybe Ahsoka might come back, you know, maybe rescue him, or maybe they're going to get muscle like Boba Fett. You know, I think in Boba Fett should really make another appearance, and that'll be it. But I don't know.
I agree. I think Boba should be in the finale. I think that'd be a good way to give him a little bit of gravitas back, because, man.
Yeah. Oh, well, at Star Wars Celebration, when they did the. Did you get a chance to watch that last day of it? Because I did, and
I was live for all 36 hours of that shit show.
yeah, well, I just heard the Bad Batch getting a final season. I was like, uh-oh, everybody's not going to be too thrilled about that. I know where it's like, I think Dave Filoni probably wants to end it. I think but I like, my favorite part was the Mandalorian and Obi-Wan Kenobi's panel together. Designs and all, like, showed the designs. I thought the designs were very cool looking, and what do you think of all that merch? All that Star Wars merch that they've been showing everybody. Mine went mind blowing on some of it.
I'm gonna be kind and just say that at this point, I'm gonna hold off on merch. I pre-ordered my Phase 2 a little while ago.
Yeah, that does look lovely. I just ordered from Amazon my Star Wars Return of the Jedi 40th shirt from Amazon, and it looks
nice.
Yep, and I just ordered a Princess Leia also from Return of the Jedi action figure.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm always down to collect stuff from the OT and the prequel trilogy. There was a time where I was collecting stuff from Mandalorian as well. That has changed at this point, but look, you gotta buy what you want. You gotta buy what you love. So if you got stuff that is tickling your sensibilities, buy the stuff that you want.
Well,
all right, what's your hype level for this finale?
I'm hoping that I'm hoping there will be, maybe I'm hoping to get like help to get Din Djarin out of Gideon's, Gideon does, Gideon, he's gonna lose again, just like the last time. He's gonna lose.
That's usually what they do in Star Wars. Yeah, the bad guy usually winds up losing. All right, Mary, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you being here. Good to see you as always. I'm going to bring on our next guest. All right. You know him. You love him. Some of you know him as the whiteboard fan. Really quick, before we get into this too much, I want to hit these super chats.
Go for it, man.
Yeah. Which one is the one I missed? 199 from Showroom Saber says, just finished Mando. Best episode in season 3, no doubt. And then Gatekeeper's Daimyo with a very generous $10 says, I will die on the hill that the positivity for this episode is a symptom of poor quality amnesia. We got poop for this whole season, so the first decent episode, it looks like gold. I'm gonna leave that up for a second. Yeah, go start. Yeah. You need no introduction. Talk to me, Goose.
He's right. So based on that, I mean, I gave it like an 8.7. If we're basing it on the season as a whole, I like Rick Famuyiwa. I like the episodes he's done for us. He gave us that Mayfeld episode, which was one of my favorites.
That was the Miggs Mayfield in the
Operation Cinder
assassination episode.
Yeah, PTSD. Incredible. Yeah, see, I was like, why can't they do this more? That's what I was going for. So and watching his interview at Celebration, the guy is just an absolute diehard Star Wars fan. I mean, he was talking about being a little kid, playing with his toys, creating all these different, storylines and scenes. And I was like, oh, okay, he did the same thing we all did. And the first movie he ever saw was Star Wars in the theaters. And so I was like, okay, this guy gets it. I don't know if Bryce Dallas Howard gets it after the last episode, but Famuyiwa definitely gets it.
It's been so interesting watching Star Wars fans kind of pick their contenders from this group of directors that seem to be handling this Disney Plus venture. And it seems to be changing left, right, upside down, and sideways. So people are like, oh, BDH needs their own stuff. And then you have Rick, who now when I see his name at the end of the credits, I'm starting to wonder.
Why didn't they give him a movie?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. The guy had some great episodes. It's same thing with Peyton, what's his name, who did the Luke episode 16 from last year. I can't remember. It's like, let's give these people some movies. Stop looking to the outside with all these no-name people. But, so I want to skip a little forward to next week. Everybody kind of like wrapped up what this episode was all about. So yeah, I kind of broke down what we're going to see next episode. Okay. So I wrote all that out quick because I saw the eraser come out. So.
Oh yeah, buddy.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about it.
It's all fresh, man. So number one, it's going to pick up right where we left off. There's going to be no skip. It's just going to be from the close of that battle. They're going to go right into the actual escape. And the main thing is, where did Axe go? So Axe went up to the surface. To get up to the surface to be able to signal to the fleet, can't maybe signal from underground, all the interference and stuff. So we got to find out where he went. But the armorer took off with the ship. So they have no way of getting off the planet whatsoever. They're stranded on that planet. So We're definitely going to see the space battle because we saw the TIE interceptors getting prepped and ready to fight the bombers. So we're going to see some cool space battle. I disagree. I don't think Boba is coming in to the show. I don't think he's going to get there. I think if anything, members of the Mandalorian fleet are going to signal to Carson and Teva and the New Republic fleet is going to come in for the assist at the last minute when everything looks horrible. So I think the armor is the spy, because this episode was called Spies, not The Spy. Spies, plural. And all we saw was Lieutenant Biscuits. We know she's a spy. So there has to be at least one more person who's a spy.
Axe Woves. I'll bet you $1. It's Axe.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, dude, somebody said it in the chat the same exact time. Axe Woves. Yep.
Yeah. See, I don't think the armorer needed to leave the planet. Why did she have to go to take the refugees back? Why couldn't
they already gave us a visual cue in the episode. Okay. So what does the armor have? Helmet with the spikes? Yeah. They're Maul sympathizers. Yeah. So same thing with Gideon, Maul sympathizer.
So I think that's going to be the big twist at the end. I think why she wanted to go back to the ships is because she knows Moff Gideon is going to go after the ships, and she wants to get on there to facilitate that.
Okay. So, what do you mean could have set them all up? Seriously? Clearly she set them all up. Like, yeah, thanks for getting everybody in one place. Duh.
So that's kind of how I feel that. See, the one thing that worries me though is that all of our key Mandalorian players are down on the surface. Koska, Axe, Bo, Din, former Paz, Grogu, all of our main known named Mandalorians are on the surface. So if the armor is up at the space at the ship, we're going to have to introduce a new Mandalorian to kind of take her on the battle if it goes that way. Right. But the other thing we're going to see is Grogu fight with his mech suit in this next episode. So they've set that up. We'll see him do something. Yeah, we'll see him do some sort of fight. The Imperial base is going to get destroyed. Obviously, we're not going to introduce the base and then finish the series. And then there's that base that's open, and then they have to pick it back up where they assault it. You know, they're going to wrap this up in one thing. And the way that they're going to destroy the base is Bo is going to ride the Lickamythosaur. And they'll probably, when they're escaping in the caves, they'll probably come to some point and she'll tell Din to take the people one way. And she's like, I got to go this way. And she goes down to find the Lickamythosaur. And then she rides the Mythosaur, and the Mythosaur comes through and destroys the Imperial base. So that's kind of how I think 1 hour next week is going to wrap up. And then we'll have the talk between Carson Teva and the Mandos after the battle's all said and done. And they'll say something like, yeah, but there's still something out there. There was something bigger going on, and they'll leave it at that.
Stupid! Talk about predictable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. It's comical at this point. I
you know what sucks right now, John? Like the worst part is I'm watching Breaking Bad for the first time ever, in conjunction with watching Mandalorian. And so a lot of people are like, why you danced all bad on Mandalorian? I'm like, because I've been watching a show that was written pretty well next to a show that's written like pure dog ass. Yeah. And, you know, there's no special effect. I mean, some special effects, I guess, in Breaking Bad, but I mean, it's just good writing.
Yep.
You know, you have two people, obviously other supporting characters, but basically two people going through this whole thing without any giant special effects. There's no spaceships and all this different shit going on. And I'm hooked into an episode just watching two people talk. And then on the other side of that, you've got this massive production, which would have been, I mean, this is an A-tier movie quality, you know, all the way back to, I would say 2002, 2003. This would be like insanely high quality movie. I don't like the volume at some points. It makes everything feel kind of crammed, but I mean, you have all this stuff going on, all this money, all of this backing, all of these giant production crews, these costume crews, everything, and you can't write a good story. What the fuck is going on here, John?
Good, cheap, fast. You know, you can have two, but you can't have three.
Oh, and it's like, you know what it's like? It's the fucking, it's the ad for the Big Mac and then the actual Big Mac.
and you're standing there like Michael Douglas at the Whammy Burger saying, Bill, now does this look like that? Does this look like that?
Yeah.
You got the sub 9, like the sub 9
Pulls the fucking Uzi out. Yeah.
and that's how we feel as Star Wars fans. We feel like Michael Douglas from Falling Down.
Yes.
And his travels through the city and all of these things are just Star Wars, the next thing that they let out. And we're just like, oh my God, are you kidding me? I'm going to bash your brains in, you know, like you forgot your bat.
I ordered a Big Mac and I got a fucking Lizzo. What is happening?
It's the perfect example of that. The perfect example of what you just described between Breaking Bad and this is that we got IG-12 in this episode, but the way that they introduced that with Grief Karga, you can completely cut that out of the first episode. It's meaningless. I watched it back to back. Nothing in that first episode, you could do away with all of that and cut that out. And then just pick the whole entire storyline like, hey, Mando, I got another surprise for you. Look what we did. Oh, whoa, hey, whoa, what'd you do?
Remember the droid? Remember the droid? You remember?
Remember IG-11? Remember the thermodetonators? Remember the lava? Remember the lava and the boat? The boat and the lava?
There is so much, and people are always like, it's not a filler episode. The really easy way to find out if what you just watched is filler or not is to look at the overarching story of the season itself and say, if this didn't happen, what would have changed? Nothing changed. Nothing changed. Lizzo and Jack Black don't show up. What changes? Nothing changed. Nothing changed. There was no big impact on Din and the way he views droids. There was, what does Bo Katan give a shit about? She doesn't care. I mean, legitimately, they could have just showed up at the camp for the mercenaries and had the same fight. Fight, and then left.
Cut that whole thing out. I mean, like, I plan on doing that. You can literally cut, when they step on that tram and take off, you can literally cut out the entire middle part of the Lizzo Jack Black episode and just have the tram continue on to the Mandalorian camp. That's it.
But there's Grogu being knighted is gonna count later at some point in some fucking get the fuck out of here. I hate that stuff. I hate it.
No, it was meaningless. It was pointless. It was all it's we don't have a story. We need to not only have one cameo, let's have 3 cameos.
Yeah.
Like it's just stupid, man. It's just stupid. And just actually watching Celebration, the more time went on and hearing how they like pack, Celebration with like a lot of like Disney employees and their families and stuff. And just the people clapping like circus seals for this crap.
Well, who do you think? So if you have a row of 100, so you've got 110 seats, right? Who's guaranteed at the panel? It's going to be family of people who worked on it, yada. Of course, they're going to be at the panel. So when somebody announces something and you hear 15 or 16 people, woo! Like, who the fuck do you think that is? And the rest of the crowd is silent. Pay attention to who you're asking money for.
Yeah, and like the other thing is, who can afford to go to those things, man? You're gonna fly to London and put yourself up in a hotel or something, Airbnb.
Moff Risman had a paid ticket for me, and I couldn't go.
That's crazy, man. I want to hear from Risman. I can't wait to hear about his.
I tried to get him on tonight, but he was busy. So
yeah, I'm sure as he gets back into town time, But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens next week, man. It's going to come up real fast. And then we've got 4 months till Ahsoka. And, like I said, when we were on the stream on this weekend talking about it, I'm excited for Ahsoka. It's all I've been waiting for. I love the Rebels storyline. I love that stuff. I love Ahsoka's character.
It's got a chance.
I just want to see it. I just want to see how that story ends. I just want it all to tie up. So then I can just be like, okay, Star Wars, like all this new stuff, I'm out for a while.
Yeah,
like that's it. I just want to see this last bit, and then you guys can have at it until I hear that all of Disney and Lucasfilm has been purged, like the Night of 1,000 Tears.
Well, essentially, after the Ahsoka series, and I have to cut this off because my poor friend Kings has been waiting in the background patiently for so long. Essentially, after the Ahsoka series ties up, and after the after the Mando series ties up, that's it for George Lucas Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's the end of George Lucas Star Wars. Unless they decide to literally try to clone the dead horse like they did with Palpatine, that's it.
Yeah, there's nothing else.
At that point, I can let go. I can let go at that point. You know? Damn, man, you got me all fucking depressed now? Come on,
I'm a realist,
John.
man. I'm a realist.
Making me a little depressed. All right, buddy. Well, I hope it gets you back. At the end of this thing, we can talk about it, you know, and the whole arc and everything would happen. Love having you on, man.
Yeah, and I definitely still want to do those edits with you. I think that would be really fun for the fandom if you and I get together and we arc out the story and we re-edit the whole thing ourselves. And then the other thing I want to tell is everybody should take a look at that guy, Pixel Joker. I think it's Pixel Joker 94, but he is re-editing Kenobi into a 2.5-hour movie. He hired a production company in Los Angeles, reshot scenes, and he is the visual effects artist for Andor, and I forget what other thing. So this guy is this. There's a trailer out there, and AD Edits did a trailer for him as well. It looks.
Oh, I don't trust that guy. AD Edits.
Yeah.
Real piece of shit. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I don't like. Oh, dude, he's terrible. Awful human being. Would never work with him ever.
Ever.
Just kidding. Alex is a very good friend of mine. Yeah. By the way, if you haven't already, please go check out AD Edits. The guy does wonderful. She knows what's going on. All right, John. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to bring in my last guy now. Have a good night, brother.
Howdy.
What's up, buddy?
Arrgh.
Is that frustration or pirates?
It's both.
Well, there's a bunch of pirates in Mando season 3, so you got to be excited. You've been playing, Sea of Thieves so much. Season 3 of Mandalorian should be right up your alley.
Right? Yeah, no, except, Sea of Thieves isn't on the nose. Yeah. One episode, right?
One episode left.
Yeah. Oh no, I said what an episode. Yeah, I was really kind of disappointed. The last 10 minutes are what saved it for me. I thought the first 30 minutes were sitting at about a 4.5 to a 5. It all felt. I don't understand why they brought the fleet. They got down to Navarro and then they said, "Hey, let's leave."
Yeah, that part. Oh, dude, hold up. Sorry, hold up. I missed a super chat.
This is from Daimia.
How did I miss that? No, it's Toddzilla. My man Toddzilla. I got to meet him down in Nashville, actually, in a line for a panel. I think it was Ian McDermott panel. We got to meet up. I think we were both wearing this shirt, actually, when we met. Said X-Wing, my brother from another mother. Anywho, I don't know if I can continue watching the Mandalorian. Well, it's definitely not Mando anymore, but please continue.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why this is so hard to grasp. It's not a hard thing to. Yeah, Maria, I'll get there, Maria. Yeah, the last 10 minutes, great. Loved it. From the second the Mandalorian pirate ship crashes from the Zillo Beast, and if anyone wants to argue with me that wasn't a Zillo Beast, I'll take you all on. Okay, that was a Zillo Beast. And
no, seriously, I'll argue it with you right now. That was not a Zillo Beast.
Okay, go look at the neck and the tail. The only thing that makes it not look like a Zillo Beast is when he's coming up out of the ground and it looks like his head is much bigger than any other shot.
The only thing that doesn't make it look like a Zillo Beast is when we see it.
Now, the neck looks exactly like this every single shot from the episode of the Clone Wars. The tail looks just like it. We only see like 3 actual shots of it. And it's the first time the head comes up. where there's a lot of debris around the neck, so it looks much bigger. Then we see a shot of the neck peering out with the head up there in the top left-hand corner. Looks exactly like the Zilla Beast from Clone Wars. Then we see the tail come down on the pirate ship. Looks just like the tail in Clone Wars. What else you want? I don't understand why there would be a Zilla Beast on Mandalore, but it was a Zilla Beast.
I don't really understand the implications and/or care as to why there would be a Zilla Beast.
I think
they
it's supposed
haven't
to be
given
like
me a reason to care that there would be a Zilla
I
Beast.
think it's supposed to be like a connection to the Bad Batch, and I think that's why they released episodes of the Bad Batch doubled up a couple times so that we would see all this stuff before this episode.
Okay, so look, here's the thing about the Zilla Beast. All right. Is it possible that, there was a Zilla Beast on Mandalore when the Night of 1,000 Tears happened and all the nukes went off? The Zilla Beast fed off of all the energy of the nukes, and then because there was no more energy, it somehow went into like a stasis
hibernation
and stayed on Mandalore for all these years and yada, yada, yada. Why would the Empire flying fucking literal ships, TIE bombers, all kinds of shit in, all of the activity that goes in with a spaceport, which clearly the Empire was running, not wake them up, and then a fucking sailboat wakes up a Zilla Beast? Like, riddle me that.
I didn't say it was good writing.
I'm just saying,
I mean,
like,
come on.
And at this point, like, nobody who's watching Mando knows what a Zilla Beast is or what that implies. So, are you going to tell me, like, all these different things why we should care about a Zilla Beast? Like, what? Like, it's fucking pointless.
So
if it
that's one of the problems with all of this is people watching this should be like, "Oh my god, is that the Zilla Beast?" And know how that connects to Clone Wars and the Bad Batch, because everyone should be watching everything. But that's how bad everything has been, that the people that watched Clone Wars and watched the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian don't give a shit about this. Pardon my French.
Why would it wake up any beast? We're not going to argue with logic. You make too much sense. Yeah, well, unfortunately.
Hang on. The other one. Zillow versus Lizzo 2023.
Yes!
Now that's a monster battle I want.
If you give me Zillow versus Lizzo, I just realized that Zillow and Lizzo are like, oh my god. Did somebody troll us at Lucasfilm? We gave you the Lizzo Beast.
I think someone trolled Lizzo.
We gave you the Lizzo Beast?
But then I'll tell you, I
dying right
got a text from my brother about 20 minutes ago telling me how much he loved the mech suit. And I was just like, never text me again. Stop talking to me about Star Wars. You don't know anything.
So it's so tough with the Grogu suit. Like, if that was a season 2 thing, I felt like that could work in season 2. You know what I mean? It could work, possibly. It's just season 3 is just so ridiculous that at this point, like, whatever they're doing, it has no emotional meaning. I don't give a shit. They do stuff and it just seems goofy. It's really hard to explain what the shift is, at least in my mindset. And I'm not saying anybody should think the way I do at all, but just in my mind, this whole season has been so goofy that it makes it difficult for me to look at anything and be like, wow, that's cool. It's just dumb.
No, it's. I mean, I'm almost dumbfounded, even just talking about the show in general, because none of it. I think someone earlier was saying that, you could take off like 80% of this season and nothing in the story changes.
Yeah.
The season should have been those, was it 2 episodes in Boba Fett or 3?
It's 2.
Okay, those two episodes of Boba Fett should have been that first episode, the second episode with about 20%, 30% less Pershing, the 4th episode, and this one. So, what is that? An hour and 10 minutes of the 3-4 hours we've gotten so far?
Well, look, here's the problem, and like I'm down to do the stream with John and sit there and re-edit these, but the bottom line is it doesn't matter. Like, this is what we got from Lucasfilm, and this is what will stay as what we got from Lucasfilm. So when people send me edits of Kenobi and, hey, look, it's better if we do it this way, and hey, look, here's edits of, you know, this Bad Batch up, hey, I have an edit of this. It's like, bro, I'm not arguing at all that this could have been edited into something at least, you know, slightly that makes sense, or at least gives you some emotion or something. But it doesn't matter. None of it matters. And all that work, sometimes, I'm not putting anybody down. Please do fan edits. Please do fan edits. It's just that it doesn't matter, because the only thing that really matters is what comes from Mama's beak. And that's what Lucasfilm is putting out. So if they're putting shit out, it doesn't matter how much we fan edit it, how much we change it, we make it good. This is canon.
Yeah. Wow, made me cry more.
Sorry, bro.
I did see some very good news, something that I'm extremely excited about. Come on Twitter a couple hours ago. I don't know if you mind me saying anything, but HBO has announced that the Night of the Seven Kingdoms show is going forward and has received a straight to series order.
Is that a Star Wars thing?
No, it's the
well, then no, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
All right, everybody, thank you for being here for the State of Star Wars address. I love you, Caleb. Thank you for being on, buddy.
Yep.
I'll see you a little bit here. Everybody, thank you so much for being on. I appreciate all of you for being here, all of my members, your super chats, everything that you have done. I appreciate it so much. I will see you guys soon. I'll see you on the next one. There will always be a State of the Star Wars address, and Lord have mercy, I can't find my outro video because my wife is standing next to me holding something. It's a bowl of mac and cheese, everyone. How am I supposed to focus with a bowl of mac and cheese in my face? You want to say hi to the people? Come on, stick your face in here. Come on, stick your face in here. She dropped the bowl of mac and cheese and ran. Now I can't move my mouse. Love you, everybody. Have a good night.
Perfect.